We went 2 and 4 on props last week, but wait, one of them was a Mike Evans 2+ touchdown prop at plus 900, baby. So that cleared out all of those losses and more, not to mention, and this doesn't mean much, but we came 6 yards shy of the longest reception on that Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans parlay to having an absolutely huge week. But here's the thing. We're going to try and do it again today for week 2. I'm Dave Loughy. These are your top props and parlays for week 2. Let's go. Hey, hit me up on Twitter if you haven't done so yet at Loughy_D. And if you want to come join me in the marketplace over at Tails by OddsShopper and jump in the premium Discord, use that promo code NFL24. Get 50% off the first week, 50% off the first month, less than $5 a week, less than $15 for the month. Get more of those Mike Evans plus 900s or the plus 604 anytime touchdown we hit in Sunday Night Football and the onslaught of Saquon Barkley props. I hope I have more of them to talk about for next week. But the only way you can find out, come hang out and hit me up in the Discord. Link is in the description. NFL24 is the promo for 50% off. We kicked this one off with Rachaad White under 45.5 rushing yards this week against the Detroit Lions. Now, minus 114 on FanDuel is the best odds, the best number as well. White is a much better fantasy asset than he is, well, real life running back. He's never averaged over 3.7 yards per attempt. And last year, of the 49 running backs with 100 plus carries, White ranked 40th in yards per attempt, 40th in yards after contact per attempt as well. The Bucs are 7.5-point home favorites in this game. I'm sorry, road dogs. They are not home favorites. They are not at home. They are not favored. They are 7.5-point road dogs in this game against the Detroit Lions team that has an absolutely elite run defense. Last year, second fewest yards allowed per game. They held Kyren Williams to 2.8 yards per attempt last week. Granted, that LA offensive line stinks, but you get the point. But also, Bucky Irving looked like the better runner last week. I don't want to look. This is not overreaction Friday, just overreact everything in week 1. But I came into this season thinking that Bucky Irving was going to have a pretty immediate role. He only played 31% of snaps to White's 70, but he outproduced him by 31 yards on 6 fewer attempts. And I think he sees an expanded role going forward. So you factor in the run defense, you factor in their huge dogs and could be forced to throw, and you factor in Bucky Irving's likely emergence in this offense. I like the under on Rachaad White here. Alvin Kamara over 4.5 receptions, minus 110 on DraftKings. I threw this in the Discord earlier this week on FanDuel. It was plus 112, so we got plus money on this. It has moved, but I still think it's a nice spot for Kamara. In 7 losses that he played in last year, Kamara averaged almost 8 receptions on 9 targets per game. He only went under 5 receptions once in those losses, and that was a game that was a 2-point game going into the fourth quarter against Atlanta. You look at all of the other losses, they were playing from behind early. Now, it can be difficult to kind of project game scripts, but they're near touchdown dogs in Dallas, right? And every time Derek Carr finds himself in, let's say, a precarious spot where they're not playing with a massive lead like they did last week in Carolina, where Kamara was surprisingly still targeted a lot, he checks down to Alvin Kamara left and right. So I expect him to be super active in this one. Give me over 4.5 receptions on Kamara in Dallas as big dogs on the road. Jaden Reed, here's a fun one. Over 37.5 rushing plus receiving yards, plus 130 on BetMGM. I have to take the plus money here at 37.5 rushing and receiving. Hear me out. Matt LaFleur is a smart guy and a smart offensive coach. And with Malik Willis set to start this game, I think he'd be really wise to use Jaden Reed in ways that are going to get him in space, gimmicky plays. We've seen him last week. 33-yard rushing touchdown in Brazil against the Eagles. 70-yard receiving touchdown. He racked up massive yards across the board, both the passing and the receiving and the rushing game. And you just saw him showcase all of those skills that make him a potentially elite, explosive player. He's good after the catch. He's good in the run game if you're trying to get him some gimmicky plays there. And he's not going to play every snap, but he did run a route on 75% of dropbacks last week. And I just can't help but think LaFleur is going to find ways to scheme ways to get the ball in his hands and let him do work after the catch. 37.5 yards. I mean, Even if Malik Willis stinks, I think there's absolutely something there. One more thing. Jordan Love hasn't officially been ruled out yet. So I like this number with Willis. And of course, we don't expect Love to play. But if he does, 37.5 is an absolute smash spot. Give me Jaden Reed over 37.5 rushing plus receiving plus 130 on BetMGM. It is time for the parlay of the week. Last week, we had two plays here. We had Mike Evans, 2+ touchdowns, 9-1. We hit that. Then we had Baker, 275+ passing yards. This is a parlay. Mike Evans, anytime touchdown, and Mike Evans, long reception of 30+ yards. We hit the first two, but Mike Evans' long reception was 24 yards. We came 6 yards shy. Sucks. But we got the 2 touchdowns. Anyway, parlay of the week. We're staying with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but on the other side of this game in Detroit. So think about this. The Lions are 7.5-point favorites. The Bucs gave up a decent amount of rushing yards last week, okay? But that was almost entirely to Jaden Daniels. Right? They gave up 138 rushing yards, but 88 of those were to Daniels. It's not like Brian Robinson and Eckler could get anything going on the ground. Now, there's a great run game with David Montgomery and Gibbs for the Detroit Lions, but I still think that this is going to be a pass funnel defense for the Bucs, and their secondary is banged up right now. Really banged up. Now, one thing I will tell you before we get to the actual parlay here, because we're north of plus 700 on this one, okay, is when you're making parlays, do everything in your power to make sure that you're on every book possible. Remember I told you last week you could have got plus 650 on Caesars, and then it was plus 450 or 460 on FanDuel. Do everything you can. Don't just do it on the first book available. Your odds will get cut in half and you'll lose money in the long run. If you're not on Bet365 yet and you're in one of these states, you're getting $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. That is it. $5. You deposit 10, bet 5, get $200 in bonus bets immediately after that first bet settles. Even if it's a live bet, like on one drive, you bet 5. The moment it settles, you got 200 in bonus bets. The link to that is in the description and the pinned comment. Got to be 21 years or older to gamble. And if you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Last thing I'll say, they're running these Thursday and Monday night promos where you bet 50 on a same game parlay and get $10 in bonus bets for every touchdown scored. It's also the best promo running of any sports book out there. Let's talk about the parlay for week 2. Jared Goff, 300+ passing yards. Of course, these are long shots. You guys know this as we go into it. I'm on Ross St. Brown, 100+ receiving, and I'm on Ross St. Brown anytime touchdown. This Bucs secondary is very banged up right now. I think that they're going to be a pass funnel here. You have Vita Vea. Listen, you have good players on this defensive line. They might not be the same run-stopping team as they were a handful of years ago, but they're legitimately still good, okay? At least in my opinion. The secondary has tons of injuries, and this could be a problem. With that in mind, I'm on Ross St. Brown potentially being the squeaky wheel, getting the grease after being totally uninvolved in week 1 while Jamison Williams emerged onto the scene and had a massive game, which is sweet because we had him in our anytime touchdown parlay in the Discord. But I think this is one of those spots where you could see the pass funnel create in the dome for Jared Goff, where he's awesome. Big passing yards, 100+ for Amon-Ra St. Brown, anytime touchdown. This one, best odds at Caesars, plus 704. Let's go, baby. Let's have a week 2. I'll see you guys over in the Discord over on Tails. Links down there. NFL 24 gets you 50% off. If you just want to watch the videos, all good. We'll catch you back here next Friday, right here on the Odd Shopper YouTube. Peace.